Hey my dudes, my name is Cecilia and welcome to my kitchen here in Stockholm, Sweden. Today we are making Krämbullar. These cream-filled cardamom buns are so popular in Stockholm right now. They're filled with diplomat cream, which is a 50-50 blend of vanilla pastry cream and whipped cream. The bun itself is just lightly flavored with cardamom. The whole thing is covered in melted butter and sugar. Can you imagine anything more delicious? No, you can't. They're amazing. Let's dive right into it. Before we even get started on the dough, we want to make the pastry cream first so it has enough time to cool. You can also make this 1 to 2 days ahead of time, make your life a little bit easier. We're going to do it all on the same day today though, and you're going to want to set yourself up with a small pot, a bowl, and a fine mesh strainer. Into the pot, pour 500 grams of milk. Then add your sugar. This was 100 grams in total, and 1 vanilla bean. Cut it in half, scrape out the seeds, and add them all to the milk. I also like to add in the vanilla bean itself. Put on medium heat. Give it a quick stir. While this is warming up, into another bowl, pour 120 grams of egg yolks, the rest of your sugar, and 50 grams of cornstarch. Whisk those together. I can just start to see steam coming off of the milk. It is hot enough. Turn it off. I like to add a towel underneath my eggs for stability. Carefully take your warm milk. You want to add a bit at a time so that the eggs don't curdle. This is all nicely mixed together and we're adding it straight back into the pot. This is where I get a little lazy. I reuse the same bowl. Put your fine mesh strainer over the bowl and set your stove to a medium low. Whisk continuously. If you stop whisking, you will burn your pastry cream. All right, it's starting to get thicker. Things are happening, things are happening. Keep whisking, don't stop whisking. Oh, look at that cornstarch work. We love to see it. And now it's boiling. You want to let this cook for a minute. Keep whisking. It is so sensitive to burning on the bottom at this point. Do not stop whisking. Whisk as hard as you can for 1 minute. We really want to make sure that cornstarch is cooked out. This is looking great. Turn it off. Throw in 25 grams of butter. Keep whisking, keep whisking. Got to get all that butter in there. Take our vanilla bean with us here, and this goes into the fine mesh strainer. Press it through. This is going to help us avoid any lumps. Plastic wrap, and you want to press it over the top of the pastry cream so that pastry cream doesn't form a skin. And pop this into the fridge. By the way, I know vanilla beans are really expensive, so you can just take your vanilla bean and wash it really well. Make sure all that pastry cream is off of it, and then just leave this out to dry. This will be completely dry in like 2 or 3 days in a normal kitchen. And then I keep all of my dried vanilla and then I grind it up, but I'm out of ground vanilla because I make vanilla sugar. You literally just add powdered sugar to ground vanilla and boom, you have vanilla sugar. Now let's make the dough. 500 grams of milk, 1100 grams of all-purpose flour, 200 grams of sugar, 200 grams of butter, 23 grams of ground cardamom, and 70 grams of fresh yeast. Oh, and 15 grams of salt. Pop on the stand mixer, hook attachment, and then put on your lowest speed for 5 minutes just so the dough can start to come together. It's been 5 minutes. Now it's time to kick up the speed. We want to develop a lot of gluten in this dough, so you want it to run on a medium low. On my Kenwood here, that's going to be about a 2.5. I have 5 settings, 2, 2.5 for half an hour, 45 minutes. It's been 45 minutes. If you feel insecure about your dough, you could do a window pane test. I probably should do a window pane test. That is best practice. If you don't know what that is, I'm gonna refer you back to my mastering cardamom buns video. But I just feel like for this particular shape, it's gonna be fine. Now, normally with this type of dough, I say to put it out onto a tray or wrap it in plastic. You wanna put it in the fridge. We want it to cool down, but because we're just making rolls today, we're not gonna do that. Shocking, I know. I've lightly floured my surface. And because it's been working for 45 minutes, it's really tight. Like it's really like, so I like to press this out into a square just because that's what I'm used to doing. The shape does not matter at all. We just want to let this rest until it's rested. That's only going to take like 15, 20 minutes. I almost forgot. I'm also going to cover it with a towel. It's gonna get a little bit of a skin on it, but now at least like it's protected from the universe. I don't know. It's been 10 or 15 minutes. Honestly, I don't know. I lost track because I had to run downstairs and do some laundry really quickly. Ish 10, 15, 20 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark. But now the dough is much more like so relaxed. Grab a scale, and I'm gonna use a bench scraper. You could also use a knife. I like to cut my piece of dough into strips, and then I cut pieces, and I'm looking for 60-gram pieces. To roll a roll, take a guy. This is the side that was sitting up while the dough was resting, so it has a little bit of a skin. This side is stickier because it was to the countertop. I like to put this more skin side down because as this comes underneath, it will help stick to the table. You want to start with a kind of like this motion. So you're kind of like tucking your edges under and pulling, and you're going like this. See how I'm pulling and my fingers are wrapping underneath? And just by doing that, I already have the beginning of a roll. Now you're gonna take your hand in a C formation, and it's this part of your hand that matters. So now we're gonna go around and around and around and kind of cup the roll, and the skin will move down and under, and it will create this nice tight top like this. See how it's rolling? My hand's in a C and it's rolling around, and dough is being picked up down below here. So we're rolling and we're rolling and we're rolling and we're rolling. Finish it off, finish it off. See how it has a nice little butthole here? And it's high and tight. That's what you want. Let's do that again. This is the skin side. We want it on the bottom. And we're tucking in our edges like that. And now taking our C hand, we're rolling and we're rolling and we're rolling and we're rolling and we're rolling, and we're finishing it off, and we're finishing it off. Nice tight little butthole, beautiful round roll. Thank you very much. Now, once you get the hang of that, you can do it with 2 hands, and you can do it quite quickly, like that. Oh, I forgot to mention, this dough is really easy to work with on this smooth marble, but if you feel like it's just so sticky, you can add a touch of flour, but the problem is if you add flour, sometimes it can just slide around. You actually want the surface to be just a little bit sticky, or not sticky, but tacky almost, so that it can stick. So I ended up with 2 trays of 11 and 1 tray of 12. And I have some clean dish towels that I have dampened. And we're just gonna lay those over the top very gently, very gentle, very demure, very cutesy. I know that that probably won't be a trend on TikTok, a trending sound on TikTok anymore once this video comes out, but oh wait, no, that's not what I wanted. But that's fine. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should get on TikTok. Life is more fun on the talk. Nobody talks like that. Nobody says that. That was embarrassing. So millennial core of me. Moving on. You could, of course, use plastic wrap for this, but you know what? I'm on a little bit of a sustainability journey, trying not to use so much plastic, not to use so much parchment paper. So we're going with towels today. These need to proof until doubled in size. Who the heck knows how long it's going to take? It's so hot in here, so it should go very quickly. But if it's like winter wherever you are, or you have the AC blasting, it's cold in your environment, like these could easily take 2 or 3 hours. Today, I'm probably looking at more like between an hour to 2 hours only. It has been fully 2 hours, and they are definitely looking so good, but it really did take that long. Like, I have been checking them every half an hour, and they just were not big enough. You don't have to do this. I would actually advise you not to do this, but I am annoying and can't not. But I like to pop all of the like really obvious bubbles. The problem with doing this is you might hit a bubble that actually had some structural integrity. And then you collapse the whole thing, which we don't want, you don't want to do. But the alternative is that sometimes you can get these bubbles on the outside that like are literally just a little tiny piece of dough, but it just becomes crust and then this big air bubble, and it makes the whole thing harder to fill, and it doesn't look as good, and it gets crushed, and it's just like, it's just not nice. Poke at your own risk. I've set my oven to 200 degrees Celsius and I'm gonna bake these off one at a time. My oven cannot handle more than one tray at a time. You do not wanna brush them with anything. No simple syrup, no egg, no nothing at this point. If you brush them with something now, you're really gonna hinder the butter and sugar sticking on them later. So nothing, we're just baking them off raw. So every single tray was baked off for 5 minutes. I then checked them. They got an extra 2 minutes. I turned the tray around. I gave them an extra 2 minutes. Now, probably after the first one, I could have just gone 7 minutes, then turn, and then another 2 minutes. But I really just didn't want them to get any hot spots or to get too dark. And it worked with the first tray, so I just did it with the 2 other trays. Annoying, I know, but it worked and they look really good. We're gonna push these guys over here and let them all cool and move immediately into the filling because these guys are warm, but they are almost cool enough. And I think by the time we fuss with the filling and coat them in butter and sugar and blah, 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 they are going to be ready for us to fill. You can whip the pastry cream by hand. I do find it annoying. I'm not gonna lie to you. And actually, I'm gonna switch around what I thought I was gonna do first. I have some heavy whipping cream here and we're gonna whip up the whipped cream first and then we're going to whip up our pastry cream. I'm only gonna do a little bit of cream so I can make a couple. And then like all of these are not gonna go to waste. My boyfriend's gonna take some of them to work and like he's gonna have to butter and sugar them and fill them at work. Fortunately, he was a baker. That's how we met actually, was at a bakery that we used to work at together. So he can do that, but that's his cross to bear tomorrow. I will have nothing to do with that. His problem, not mine. Just a dash of cream. Wow, that was like, well, I'm only making a couple of them. I don't know how much that was. We'll weigh it afterwards. Whisk attachment, let her rip. It is very important for you to not over whip your cream. We do not want a stiff whip. We don't even want a soft whip. Come here, let me show you where I've stopped this right now. Whee! Look how liquidy that is. Do you see how it's just starting to ribbon? This is where we're stopping it. Remember, you can always whip more. You can never whip less. So it's at this point that I like to take it off and start to whisk by hand. And now it has just started to get that little bit more ribbony and we're gonna stop it. See what I mean by ribbony? As you mix it with the pastry cream, you will also be mixing the whipped cream. So it's not just like we're gonna try to fill these buns with this soft cream here. You have to think ahead. Taking as much cream as I can out of here, or as much as I have patience for. Pastry cream, and it's really stiff. Bong, 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 bong. And we're just gonna go donk, paddle attachment, and whip this up until it's totally smooth. I did do a dumb thing, and I brought my scale out so that I could weigh this right away, and then I didn't do it. It's 170 grams. So then we take this guy, and we're just gonna pop in 170 grams directly into our cream. There we go. The rest of this I will put away and boyfriend will use it later. It's very important to get this texture just right. So I'm starting off with the spatula, but I have my whisk here just in case. I want to be gentle and the spatula is more gentle than the whisk. See how just in sitting there, the cream is already starting to stiffen up? Like just in me trying to get out all of that pastry cream into the cream, it's like so stiff. But this is what we're looking for. If you've mixed the whipped cream and the pastry cream together and it's still super liquidy, that's when you're gonna wanna go in with the whisk and whisk it until it's like nice. I'm just gonna make 4 today. You take your bun, melted butter, and you really wanna dip it like all over in melted butter. And you can kind of like brush off the excess and look how shiny this is right now. We're gonna come back to that. Dip in melted butter. We're really swirling and twirling here. These guys have been sitting for about 5 minutes and see how they're no longer like shiny. It's kind of dull now. That's what you want. Take a guy, put some sugar on it, and see how beautiful that top is? That's because we waited for the butter to be dull. And again, take the sugar and you just wanna kind of like lightly pat it up, turn it over, gorgeous. And one last time. There we go. take a chopstick and you want to just poke straight into the middle of the bun. I have taken the liberty of putting all of our diplomat cream in a piping bag, and it's fitted with a just like a round piping tip. So you want to take your guy, you want to stick it into the hole. These holes are not big enough, but okay. And you're going to add cream until you feel like a resistance. Yeah, like that. And it's gonna come out a little bit like that, and that should be fine. And then you make a cute little kiss on top. They used to be better when I worked at the bakery, but I'm no longer making 400 a day. So in a little bit more, and you're gonna wanna go in, and you'll see it kind of like puff up. There we go, and kiss. In, puff up, and kiss. Cute! And for that little extra something something, we have some powdered sugar. And you want the tiniest, lightest dusting of powdered sugar. There we go. Boom. Oh, has so much cream come out of the bottom. And that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked today's episode, then please like and comment and subscribe. Hope you have a great day and that I will see you around next week. Hej då!